although Elohim is usually translated as God, it does not technically mean a divinity. Depending on context, it may be best to translate it as an exceedingly mighty force, or an exceedingly powerful person, or in reference to God, we could translate it as all-powerful or almighty, but it does not mean divinity intrinsically. That is not an intrinsic meaning of the word. Even Moses, by the way, is referred to as Elohim in the Hebrew Bible. Also, we have the word malach, which is frequently translated as angel, although this word malach technically means messenger, agent, or envoy. Being that the chapter under discussion begins by mentioning that angels encountered Jacob, it's certainly possible that it was with an angel that Jacob wrestled. And being that it specifically says Malachi Elohim, which can also be translated as angels of might or envoys of might, the use of the term Elohim in this chapter in reference to something other than God already has a good grounding in both the text and the context. The fact that the text explicitly states in verse 25 that Jacob wrestled with a man should put the whole issue to rest. Now, if that's not enough, perhaps you'll find Jacob's words to Esau, his brother, even more enlightening. In the very next chapter, Jacob stated to his brother Esau, "Seeing your face is like seeing the face of a mightily powerful entity, Elohim," the very same term used in the previous chapter to describe the man with whom Jacob wrestled. Now, just as in that chapter, in that account of Jacob wrestling, Jacob said, "I have seen Elohim face to face, and yet my life is preserved." So also here in chapter 33, upon encountering his brother Esau, he says, "Seeing your face is like seeing the face of Elohim, of a mightily powerful entity. And you," Esau, his brother, "showed me favor." Now what could that be in reference to? Well, let's think. Back in the previous chapter, Jacob didn't just wrestle with this Elohim entity, but he also requested a blessing from him. So could it be that maybe there's a connection between that and in the next chapter where Jacob describes seeing his brother like seeing the face of a powerful entity, and his brother had shown him favor? Now, if you think that Jacob asking a blessing of the angel or the entity and the account of the wrestling could indicate some sort of divinity on the part of the entity he was wrestling, well, then you have to also conclude that Jacob himself must therefore be believed to be God, since Jacob is recorded as blessing all of his sons, and Jacob requested a blessing from his father, Isaac, and there are numerous other examples of mere human beings giving a blessing to individuals. So no, the fact that a person would ask someone's blessing does not in any way insinuate belief on the part of the one asking that this individual he is asking is God. You can find places in virtually all Bible translations, whether Christian or not, where this term is translated as judges, angels, or supernatural beings. It's not only translated as God. And hope this was helpful. So, all the best. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Shalom uvracha.